the record button.
Well, if he wasn't lied to every week, maybe he wouldn't be impatient.
I suppose that's true. All right. We are. All right. Here we go.
Here we go. One, nothing wrong with me.
What up, everybody? Let's hear. I'm unmuted. Yes. Let's go.
You did it. I'm so proud.
Got it going right away. I love it. This is the Victorious PRD. We are recording. We are live. It is Thursday. It's the 20th of January already. Holy smokes. Jack, can you believe that we are almost done with January already? And welcome in. Hope you're having a great week so far. So what's going on?
In a great year. I can count on more than two hands how many times I've messed up writing 2022 already. So there's that.
Fact. I've done it. Absolutely. I have done it. So I just wanted to say welcome in, everybody. We are the Victorious POD. We are a fantasy football podcast and live stream. We here are talking episode 21, 75 overall, for those who are counting. Shout out to Al and Praying Mantis Princess in the chat right off the bat. So thank you guys. We appreciate that. As you can see, we have moved to Twitch. So if you would be so kind to let all of your friends know who have a Twitch account, to ask them to follow us on Twitch. Or follow me on Twitch for sure, and sooner or later we will get to.
Oh sure,
Jack.
Don't follow me on Twitch.
I'm not saying that we're not going to follow you on Twitch, but we absolutely will get you going on Twitch at some point here. So there will be absolutely no problems with that. Just wanted to say thanks to everybody out there who has donated. You guys have made. You guys have made this possible for us, so we appreciate that. I would also like to give a special thanks out to Levi Oki. He is responsible for all the beautiful artwork that you see here, and if you would like to check out more of his work, please find him on Instagram at Levi Oki Illustration. If you are looking to get a hold of us, make sure you check out the show notes. I will update the show notes after the show here, and we will also be on YouTube, and you can find all of the show notes on the YouTube video as well. So check out those notes on how you can get a hold of us. Let's see here. I have just a couple. I know I have a few announcements. I can talk more about it at the end. Jack, do you have anything going on while I try and wrap my blended brain around what's going on?
I never have anything going on. Thanks for pointing that out. No, not a whole lot. Still recovering. We had a basketball game last night, so I'm old now and I'm still sore. So a few of us guys, few league members and listeners of the pod were there for that. Did an escape room over the weekend. That was about the max of our excitement. So not a whole lot else going on. Watched some football, of course, and yeah, that's about it. Was that enough time to kill?
Yeah, that was fine. Yeah, okay. That was great. Let's see here. That sounds interesting. Do you remember exactly what happened the last time I tried to play an athletic sport?
Was that football on Thanksgiving and you hurt yourself?
All right. No. All right. We're going to go back a little bit further. The last time I was part of an organized sports league, how about that?
Fair.
We'll go back about 3 years.
No.
We were playing basketball down at Minnehaha Academy.
Oh, I do remember. Oh, yeah.
That was the end of my...
I'll let you tell it.
I tore my
ankle, right?
Yeah, tore my Achilles.
Or was it Achilles?
Yep. Tore the Achilles, non-contact injury. Lots of fun. And then I believe Audio Al the week after, dislocated his knee, possibly. I know that was there a chunk, like they took a chunk out of his kneecap. I can't remember. Al,
tell us exactly what it was. What the injury was. Knee could be a lot of things. I just know it was in that area.
Yeah, it was not good. I think we had surgery like a week apart from each other. Like I think Al was going into his surgery and I had like my first post-op doctor appointment like the day of his surgery. So yeah. No, we are.
I think it was like the end of the season and we were like, okay, we're done. Let's just not play anymore for the year.
Yeah. We Praying Mantis Princess is correct. We are old and dying. So they're definitely.
I'm still in my 20s. I'm one of the few in the group left. I'm hanging on. Not quite off the edge of the cliff yet, but we'll see. It's getting there.
Yeah, we will get there. Funny thing happened to me this morning. Then we'll get this going. I just want to chit chat here real quick. Driving to work, I'm pretty sure. I saw a meteor driving to work this morning. It's dark. I mean, so it's like I get to work before.
Shooting star?
Yeah, but it was brighter than a shooting. Like, I mean, it was a shooting star or something, obviously, but it was super close to Earth because all of a sudden, just out of the corner of my eye, I saw this brilliant light just go away from me extremely fast. Couldn't even. I saw it for so long that my brain had trouble processing exactly what I saw right away. So
UFO, perhaps
it's either we have UFOs or it's a shooting star. So I think UFO
it could
is much
that,
more interesting, but for sure,
it could be Don't Look Up coming to life. I don't know if you saw that movie, but.
Oh God, no! That is on my Netflix queue. I definitely want to watch.
It's interesting. I've heard mixed reviews from people. I don't know that I walked out going, "Wow, this was amazing!" Like top tier movie, but I don't know that it was an amazing movie, but it was entertaining throughout. Like it's kind of got a quirky script going on, and there's just so many different like famous people, so it's enjoyable to watch. Whether you think it's a great movie or not is everybody's opinion out there, but. That's my 2 cents.
Big G Mike, first time in the chat, says that 30 is the new 20. So Big G Mike, thank you so much for checking us out and giving us the old follow there on Twitch. We really do appreciate that.
Is 28 the new 18? Am I barely legal now?
Barely.
Anyway, moving on.
All right. We had some football happen this weekend. What was your main takeaway from Wild Card Weekend? Did you have a team that most impressed you this past week? I mean, what was your initial reaction to the season or the Wild Card Weekend? Sorry, I had just giant brain.
Yeah. You're good. I think my biggest takeaway was I was just more in surprise that the majority of the games were not close. I think there were 3 different blowouts between was it the Chiefs destroying the Steelers, Tampa Bay having a pretty easy time with the Eagles, and then the Bills dismantling the Patriots. So obviously you expect like certain teams to win or like teams that have been better consistently coming in, but still there's other teams that are in the playoffs for a reason. So, I mean, to see people get destroyed that much was surprising to me. I think the majority of the teams that won were the ones that like probably should have. Like there wasn't a ton of upset. I mean, maybe you could say the 49ers over the Cowboys, but the 49ers have looked so good lately. I think that's a credit to them. I think the Cowboys were a really big disappointment just with how they looked in that entire game. And then the rest of that, I think it was the majority of what we expected. I'd put, I guess, the Cardinals kind of in the same tier as the Cowboys, where it just felt like teams that are really, really good throughout the regular season, but then they just disappointed in their first playoff game here. So,
do you think the pressure?
Yeah, I guess.
Do you think the pressure gets to Kyler? Like, do you think he's just overwhelmed by all of it? Do you think it's coming in a lot faster than a normal game? I know that's silly to say because it's another NFL game, but there is more. There is more riding on what is going on in the playoffs. Like, it's do or die. Like, do you think Kyler can handle that?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like, has he made it to the playoffs once before, or was this his first time and he lost? I'm not sure. I know he hasn't won a game, but I don't know if he's been in the playoffs before that. The Rams defense, don't get me wrong, is really, really good. So I get that. But that being said, I mean, he was a guy that we were talking about as like a potential MVP candidate, like earlier in the year before he got hurt and then missed some games. And for him to come out and put up like 19 for 34, 137 yards and 2 touchdowns, like they were playing from behind pretty much the entire game. And he doesn't even have more yardage than that, or doesn't like put together a touchdown. Like that's pretty brutal. So, I think I expected the Rams to win, but I didn't think it was going to be this easy for them. So that kind of concerns me. Some questionable play calling, I guess, as well. Just with, I think you need to expect what the Rams are going to do. Like they rush the passer really, really well. They've got elite defensive linemen, and I think you need to just get the ball out quicker. So I don't know that I'd put it all on Kyler. I mean, obviously having DeAndre Hopkins would have helped too, but yeah, definitely concerning. Like he's looked so good at times, and then he's kind of just fallen apart the last 2 seasons, like towards the end of the stretch. So hopefully he can kind of figure it out. He's still young and he's looked elite during the regular season so far.
Yeah. Yeah. I would generally agree with all of what you just said. So that's some good points. How about let's talk a little bit. Are we happy for Matt Stafford finally getting his first win in the NFL playoffs?
Was that really his first win ever?
That was, according to my sources, that was Matt Stafford's first playoff win.
Yeah. Okay. I just looked it up quick too. I doubted you. He's made it 3 times before and lost in all 3 of them, not surprisingly, to Detroit. Yeah, I'm pumped for them. Or for him and for the team in general. I really like Stafford. He's one of like the most likable quarterbacks and probably players in the league to me. So really, really happy to see him doing well. I know he kind of struggled down the stretch, but he had a great season in the first 3 quarters of the season as well. So seeing him come out and look good. They're playing the Buccaneers, and obviously I'm a huge Tom Brady fan, but if for some reason the Rams do upset them, they would probably be my team that I would want to go all the way. Just a fun team to cheer for, and it would be nice to see Stafford kind of get vindicated. And he's been such an underrated quarterback in my opinion for years and years, and I think he deserves to be talked about more as far as one of the elite like gunslinger types still in the league.
I think you talked about this a little bit, or you may have highlighted it a little bit. Which team necessarily? Like which loss was like the most surprising to you? Because for me, I guess I would have to say the Cowboys, but then again, not really, just because there's so much offensive talent when it comes to the 49ers minus Jimmy G. I mean, I don't know if you want to say there's a plethora of talent there, but I would say that the Cowboys loss to the 49ers was probably the biggest surprise to me over the weekend.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I touched a little bit on the Cardinals. I think they disappointed as far as how they looked, but I didn't expect them to win anyway. So the only other team I would talk about maybe is the Patriots. Again, not that I would necessarily have expected them to win, but Belichick's been in the playoffs before. He's got the experience. They have looked very good. Their defense is very, very good. So for them to go out and give up 47 points and lose by 30 to a division rival, that would maybe be the only other like embarrassing one for me. I think 3 of the 6 teams that lost, the Raiders, Eagles, and the Steelers, nobody really expected to win anyway. So I wouldn't really put that on them as far as disappointment. They probably performed like we thought they would have, but Yeah, the Cowboys were the ones that probably had the highest expectation. They were, I believe, the only team that officially got upset where like the lower seeded team won. So
Yeah.
probably the biggest disappointment from them. I mean, I just don't get how you can't figure that out. Not even that you can't necessarily win, because I mean their defense isn't the best, but you put up 17 points when you got a top end quarterback, running back, multiple receivers. Like I don't get that. So
Yeah. Okay. Yep. I agree. Let's take a look at what's coming up this weekend. We have our divisional decisions. A team that's most likely to upset. Who do you think is going to be the biggest upset of the weekend, or who do you think has the potential to be an upset this weekend? Let's go with that.
yeah, I really like all four of these matchups. I think they could all be interesting. It wouldn't completely shock me if any of the four of them won. So I guess if I had to pick one, I feel like the one that I think is the most likely, maybe to use that word, would be the Rams over the Buccaneers. Honestly, I think the Bucs, having lost Godwin and then Antonio Brown walking off the field in like very short amount of time, hurts. Yeah, they still have Mike Evans. Yeah, they still have Gronk, but they don't know if Leonard Fournette's going to be back. Ronald Jones is banged up. And even regardless, the Rams are just a very, very good team. They rush the passer. That's been the only real key to beating Brady in his entire career, is getting pressure on him early. So I think if I was picking like the odds between the four of them, that would probably be the most likely for me. But again, I could see any of the other three pulling something off this week.
Yeah, for me, oh boy. I mean, some of these teams, I mean, San Francisco is obviously the biggest underdog, or well, Cincinnati, I guess also would be. Would you say that Cincy is an underdog versus Tennessee? I mean, both have strengths in different areas, but like, I could see Cincinnati upsetting Tennessee this weekend for sure.
Easily. I mean, Tennessee's being disrespected as the number one seed, but they're also probably like the weakest top one or two seed in recent history. So I could easily see Cincinnati winning. They have a much better passing attack. I mean, Burrow's been on fire lately, and Jamar Chase and T. Higgins have been too. So I think if they win, it's going to be through the air, but I feel like the difference maker is going to be if Derrick Henry returns like they're expecting this week. I think that will be enough to decide it for me. But yeah, if he doesn't come back and play, or if he comes back and maybe is limited and isn't dominating the game, I could easily see the Bengals winning this week.
I don't think it's really like, are you a weak team if you have Derrick Henry coming back?
Are you a weak team? No.
Yeah, I mean, because you said as like one of the weakest number one seeded team.
Oh yeah.
So
right.
like,
if Derrick Henry's back, it's very different.
Right. Well, he's supposed to be back this weekend, isn't he?
He's practicing in limited fashion, and they took contact. They haven't officially said he's playing, but they're expecting him to. Just the fact that he didn't practice at all last week, and then now immediately this week is practicing.
Okay. All right.
So likely he's out there. If for some reason he's not, I would 100% go Bengals, like even just straight up. But if he's back, I think I still lean Tennessee, but it's going to be close, or it should end up being very close.
I'm going to say that it is possible. I expect Tennessee to win, but I do think that Cincinnati is going to be the biggest upset potential this week. I see Green Bay absolutely dismantling the 49ers this weekend. I mean, you got players like Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams, Aaron Jones. I just feel like that is going to be way too much for the 49ers to be able to handle. I don't know what your thoughts are on that.
I'm a little less sure. Yeah, I definitely still expect the Packers to win. It just kind of feels like it's their year with how everything's shaping up, unfortunately. So they seem like the odds-on favorite, AFC or NFC. But I think as far as any of the remaining teams, like any of the remaining 7 on both conferences, the 49ers are probably the worst matchup for the Packers in terms of they do things well that the Packers struggle with. So like the 49ers have a very, very tough pass defense. They get a lot of pressure in on the quarterback, and I think that's something that the Packers struggle with. I know Bakhtiari, the left tackle, is supposed to be back this week, I believe, but yeah, that could be interesting. If they can get in on Rodgers quickly, that's going to make a difference. I don't think that the Packers run game scares me as much, whereas the 49ers run game, I think, is the key to success for them. So if the 49ers can try to find a way to control the clock between either Elijah Mitchell dominating like he has or Debo, especially Debo getting involved early, I think between the two of them, if they can control the clock, that'll go a long way for them having a chance. I think if they do win or if they try to pull it off, it's going to end up being like a 24-21 kind of game. They're not going to blow the doors off the Packers and win, but I do think it's going to be more interesting than a lot of people that don't follow these teams closely would expect. Like, I think on paper you're going to look at it and be like, oh, the Packers are the number one seed, Rodgers, blah, blah, but don't be surprised if it takes a different turn than you'd be thinking.
Right on. Big
that was
Mike,
a lot of words all at once.
Big Mike, I hope that answers your question. Thanks for asking us the question in chat. Ratman78, first time chat. Thanks, buddy. I appreciate it. Or 879, Ratman 879. He wants to ask if Packers make it to the Super Bowl, who are the Packers going to beat? Do you have any? Do you have any predictions?
So if they win, if they make it to the Super Bowl, they're winning it, is what we're saying. I still, as far as like AFC favorites, I still have to think it's the Chiefs. The Chiefs and the Bills probably both scare me more than Tennessee does. So I would assume whoever wins in that matchup probably will beat the winner of Tennessee versus Cincinnati. It's just hard to bet against Mahomes and Andy Reid, especially. I feel like they just will make the right calls at the right times, and that's my gut as of now.
Right on. I'm going to guess that is going to be the it's going to be the Bills that are going to be facing off against the Packers in the Super Bowl.
I like it.
So, all right, that is going to do it for that. I think we are actually going to move into our tailgate zone now. We do have a few Discord discussion questions, and Al has posted another one here recently within the last few minutes. So we'll discuss that as well. But in the notes, I see that Audio Al, thanks for giving us all these questions all year long. I appreciate it. But I really do. Pick one for next year, assuming both are healthy to start. J.K. Dobbins or Travis Etienne? Jack?
This is super interesting.
Yeah, this is very interesting. What are your thoughts? First. Oh, okay, fine. All right, I'll just have to switch back over to me.
I'm pretty set in mine, so I don't want to like influence yours either way.
All right, so I'm gonna go ETN. I'm picking ETN. Ooh. Number one, because
spicy.
Let me ask you this. How do you feel about the running game in general by the Baltimore Ravens? Like, do you feel that their running backs, even though that they're obviously very important, but Lamar Jackson, when healthy, he is your running back who throws the ball. Thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, fair. I think he has definitely improved more than I would have expected. As far as a passer goes, like he still did pretty well as a passer this year, despite missing a lot of games. So I think the potential is there. And I think the fact that they lost both Dobbins and Gus Edwards early in the season, they didn't even really have a running back that they, came into the season projecting to use. So I think maybe if you have your first guy or your second guy back, that might change things a little bit more. They dealt with a lot of injuries between Lamar himself, both the running backs I mentioned. There was a couple of linemen that were out throughout the year too. So I think I wouldn't necessarily be against the running game in Baltimore like I would have been a year or two ago. I think I used to think it was more like, oh, Lamar's going to take all the carries. But Dobbins did very, very well in his rookie season 2 years ago, and I think he was projected as kind of a top 15, like borderline top 15 running back coming into last year before the injury. So Dobbins, I'm very, very excited about personally. It's just a matter of him coming back healthy.
Yep. So for me, I look at it as who potentially is going to have more volume down in Jacksonville. You still have Why can't I think of his name now? He was great this year until he got hurt. Did he get hurt? Yeah, I think he got hurt. Jacksonville.
In Jacksonville?
Yeah.
James Robinson.
James Robinson, yes. All right. So you have James Robinson, and then you have Travis Etienne down in Jacksonville. Mm-hmm. Most likely, they will be splitting the touches. But when you look at Baltimore, you have hopefully Gus Edwards is going to be back. You're going to have J.K. Dobbins who's going to be back. And then you also have Lamar Jackson. So it's necessarily, for me, it's going to depend on volume. How much volume can we expect out of those players? And my bet is that you're going to see more volume out of ETN than you will Dobbins. But the big thing that you need to factor in as well is Dobbins going to be your is he going to be your goal line guy? Is he going to be the guy running the ball into the end zone along with ETN? Is ETN going to be running the ball into the end zone? So two big things that I'm going to be looking at is going to be volume and end zone. And I feel like ETN is going to have more opportunities to be able to run the ball into the end zone. That's my thought.
That's fair. I guess I won't go super long on it because you touched on a lot of the points, but my 2 cents is that you can have the goal line back in Jacksonville, but that assumes that they're going to even score in the first place. So I think the Baltimore offense is a lot more threatening. And regardless of if Lamar is maybe the first option, I think that it's a lot more common where they're going to get in the end zone 2-3 times as much as Jacksonville might. So I like their odds maybe to just score more overall. Whether it's always Dobbins or not remains to be seen, but I like their chances that Dobbins is going to be getting work in an offense that's moving the ball rather than Jacksonville and Trevor Lawrence running it, looking miserable and punting every 2 or 3 drives. So I think I like that high upside more. And I still think that even if Dobbins and Gus Edwards split time, it'll be more of like a 70-30, 60-40 route. So that would be enough for me. I mean, that was basically what happened, and Dobbins didn't even start the majority of the year, his rookie season, and I think he still finished within the top 20 running backs. So I personally would go Dobbins strongly on my side.
Let's see here. I'm trying to look and see. How did James Robinson finish this year? He was the 25th running back. I know he missed
3 or 4, so.
Yeah. He is the 25th running back on the year. I thought he was better than that because, your point of being, how good is he going to be when you have an offense that can't move the ball? Obviously, they weren't able to move the ball this season very well at all. And James Robinson still had some pretty decent performances. He had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 double-digit performances, 3 of them being right around the 20 point threshold. So I think Robinson still has, he was able to show you that he can put up a fantasy performance in an offense that is terrible, but now you're looking at 2 running backs in an offense that is terrible. So we'll see. You might be right.
Yeah,
Dobbins might be the play. So very good point. Very good point. All right. Now we have one more question from Audio Al, and then we're going to get going on this thing here. Quick Vikings chat. We interviewed the first woman to be a GM in Catherine. Is it Reich? I don't know how to pronounce her last name, so I apologize.
Great question.
For that. Do you think we should also give...
Oh, wait. Don't do it. Don't do it. I'm saving you.
Okay.
I just read what it was going to be.
I got it now. Yeah. I got it.
Took me a second.
You sneaky son of a bitch, you, Al.
Don't worry, Al. I got you.
Oh, okay. That's all right. If you guys want to figure
her
out what,
legal given birth name would be Jennifer Tulls.
yes,
We'll just leave it at that for those of you to figure that out.
Jennifer Tulls would be definitely on the list of female.
You know, he was only listening to this episode just to see if that was said.
Yeah, he was. He's. I'm gonna see my viewer count drop. But yep, and there it went down one. Bye.
Weird. Suck it out.
All right.
Nice try.
Nice try.
Right.
Actually, I do have one thing real quick. With how well the Cowboys performed last weekend, the fact that the Vikings were interviewing their coaches to be our next head coach, does that concern you at all, or do you think that they have they are a legitimate candidate to be the head coach, our next head coach here in Minnesota?
Yeah, I don't know that I feel strongly about Dan Quinn. I don't really want him, but Kellen Moore interests me. Yeah, I mean, the game didn't look great, but I wouldn't, I guess, chalk it up to just one game either. Like, I like the idea of us going with an offensive-minded head coach. So, like, Dan Quinn, defensive coordinator, or Brian Flores, who, like, it still interests me. It still would be a really cool option. I don't know that, like, going another defensive coordinator route is our best bet. I feel like that's kind of all we've picked is coaches with defensive backgrounds lately, even before Zimmer. So Kellen Moore, I guess I wouldn't dock him just for with this one game. It would have been nice to see him put up a better performance with his team, but no.
I totally agree. I'm with you on that. I don't want any of the Dallas coaches as our head coach right now. I mean, no thanks. We've already had a coach that has choked throughout the playoffs when we make it every other 3 years, whatever it is. So not looking for that. So
let's go get Josh McDaniels out of New England.
Has he been a head coach already?
No, he had the one where he took the Colts job and then he backed out like last minute to stay with the Patriots as the offensive coordinator. But they did say that the Vikings and 2 or 3 other teams were looking at him to be their head coach. So maybe his camp has said something that they're like open to doing it, or maybe he's just taking interviews and he still won't do it. I don't know, but it's at least being discussed, whereas in recent years it wasn't. Okay. So could be interesting.
Yeah. All right. We are going to be moving on into our next segment here. We are doing second season fantasy football, and we are going to be throwing those pictures up on the screen here very shortly. Wow. There we go. We got them up there. So what it is right now is essentially the second season is it's almost like a best ball league. You pick one player. The way we have our league set up is you pick one player from each of the from each of the playoff teams, and then most points at the end of the Super Bowl is your current winner. And so we're going to be starting off here with quarterbacks that were drafted in our second season league. We have Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, Dak Prescott, Tom Brady, Derek Carr, and Aaron Rodgers. As you can see in the red, Dak Prescott and Derek Carr have been eliminated. And so that doesn't bode well for Praying Mantis Princess, since she had both of those. So that's tough. But you see Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, Tom Brady, and Aaron Rodgers, arguably the 4 best quarterbacks in the league, still gunning for a playoff position. So any thoughts on any of the quarterback play this week? Otherwise, we can move right on over to our running backs.
Yeah, Dak Prescott, brutal. You should be safe round 1 picking like a top 3 quarterback option, but I really like Josh Allen as the pick because I think he's one of those where like Mahomes is going to be more likely the guy to go forward, but I think like Josh Allen could end up being more value in this kind of format, if that makes sense. If he does win, like you might be set the rest of the way just with his rushing ability. So
yes,
absolutely.
Like it. All right, we're moving on to running backs. Devin Singletary, Elijah Mitchell, Josh Jacobs, Joe Mixon, James Conner, Miles Sanders, Damian Harris, Zeke Elliott, Najee Harris, Leonard Fournette, and Derrick Henry. Almost everybody, I think, let's see here, 2, 4. Only one person didn't draft Derrick Henry in this. But as you can see, Josh Jacobs, James Conner, Miles Sanders, Damian Harris, Zeke, and Najee Harris all eliminated from the challenge. Everybody lost a running back in the wild card weekend. So Devin Singletary for me by far has got to be the biggest surprise. I don't know if he's been trending that way over the last few weeks of the season, but he had one heck of a game. Was it Saturday, Sunday? Yeah, Saturday, because AFC played on Saturday. So,
yeah, he wasn't like dominating like this necessarily, but he was doing well at the end of the season and he was getting all the work. So I was going to say, I like that as far as like the gamble or like spicy pick, just by only Al. Kind of same thing as Josh Allen, where I feel like if the Bills do pull off this win, like Al might be tough to beat just by getting him as kind of a cheaper pick, so to speak, and then loading up on the top guys from other teams. So I really like that. Also very sneaky of a lot of people picking Fournette and Derrick Henry, who both effectively had a bye. Like we assumed the Bucs were going to survive the Eagles. So both of those were very, very smart picks. I'm shocked that anybody, let alone two people, picked Najee Harris. That would be my only other 2 cents on this position.
yeah, so trying to figure out what position people wanted to sacrifice in the first round, because everybody lost. We went from 14 players down to 8. Yeah, we went from 14 to 8. So 6 players on your roster when we cut. So trying to figure out where you wanted to have those cuts come was a really interesting exercise, because there were so many good players in so many different categories. It was really difficult to figure out. But a lot of people picked the same players to get eliminated that were eliminated. Damian Harris, Josh Jacobs, people thinking that they might not be able to get to the next round, so they were picked. So very, very interesting. So, but fun nonetheless. Anything else? Otherwise, we're going to move on to our next slide.
No, yeah. Let's go to receivers and tight ends.
Okay, receivers and tight ends. We've got Debo, Jamar Chase, Cooper Kupp, Deontay Johnson, Devonta Smith, Hunter Renfrow, Stephon Diggs, CeeDee Lamb, Devontae Adams, and Jalen Reagor. All were rostered. Deontay, Devonta, Hunter, CeeDee Lamb, and Jalen Reagor were all eliminated this past week. Everybody, I believe everybody, 2, 4, 6, 7. Yeah, everybody picked Cooper Kupp, which is no surprise. Debo and Jamar Chase were also really popular. Devontae Adams for me was tough because I didn't know if I wanted to choose between Aaron Rodgers or Devontae Adams. What route would you have gone when it came to picking a Packer player?
Probably Rodgers. I just feel like playoffs wise, he's so much more consistent. But it's tough because I mean, Adams could like win you a week sometimes. So
Yes.
I would have struggled with that. I think there's enough other good receivers though. Like Cooper Kupp's very, very interesting, but at the same time, it wouldn't, they're not the favorites for a reason over Tampa Bay. So like, it wouldn't be surprising if they lose. Like Kupp might kind of be more influenced by like the fantasy seasons bias where he was just dominating. So if you get him as like your top guy and then they are out right away, I mean, that might derail your whole season. So
yeah, absolutely. All right, moving on. We have tight ends: Travis Kelce, Dalton Schultz, Dallas Goedert, Rob Gronkowski, Zach Ertz, George Kittle, and Josiah DeGuara. I don't even know how to pronounce his last name.
I have no idea who that is.
He is a tight end for the Green Bay Packers. So,
good to know.
Yep. Travis Kelce obviously was very popular. I'm surprised not everybody picked him. I am scared about Gronk, though. Gronk is a guy that could absolutely just destroy when it comes. I mean, because their team has the potential to make it to the Super Bowl, and he obviously has shown that he is a very consistent fantasy player. Would you be more in favor of having Travis Kelce or Rob Gronkowski throughout the rest of the playoffs? I
mean, you still got to go with Kelce just because he's been dominant as a tight end for a while. But Gronk, I think, like, value-wise, like, if you can get Gronk and then it allows you to pick someone else from Kansas City, like Mahomes or Tyreek, that's a good enough trade-off. I think Gronk just comes on big in the playoffs, and especially with them missing a couple of other receiving options. I mean, Brady trusts him, and he likes to go for him. So if you're asking me Kelsey versus Gronk straight up, it's Kelsey. But if it's like Kelsey and somebody on the Bucks versus Gronk and someone on the Chiefs, I would probably go that route more with Gronk plus Tyreek or Gronk plus Mahomes.
Interesting. Okay, cool. All right. I don't have anything else unless you have anything that you want to mention on any of these two positions.
No, I think I'm good.
Okay. Our next one here, and I'm getting it up on my screen here. Okay. Daniel Carlson, Greg Zuerlein, Nick Folk, Matt Prater, and Chris Boswell were the kickers that were chosen this weekend. It is no surprise that, and I actually think it's a pretty good move. Every kicker that was picked was eliminated in the first round. Would you have tried to follow the same strategy as well?
Yeah, I think just get the positions that aren't going to make a difference out of the way. Maybe if you end up getting lucky with one, you have 5 to 7 extra guaranteed points. But yeah, there's no reason to waste one of like a spot for them when you're losing a running back or a quarterback or whatever.
What if Daniel Carlson or Greg Zuerlein is on like the Bucks or the Chiefs or whatever? Like, I mean, you see that 14 points, and 14 points is, I mean, that's a good amount of points for a kicker. Not saying that he's going to do that every week, but if Daniel Carlson,
fluky.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No, I agree.
That's the problem. Like, you're not going to know. You can't really like bank on any of that. So it's like, well, great if I pick the best kicker, but the best kicker might still only get like 12 points at best. So I would sacrifice that position in a heartbeat.
Princess, I'm not exactly sure what you're asking. We'll get back to that. And then the defense, Steelers, Bills, Eagles, Patriots, Cardinals, Titans.
Same strategy.
Yeah, only 2 defenses are left. It makes me wonder if Garlic thought the Bills were going to get eliminated in Wild Card Weekend. But and then you have the Titans that are playing this weekend, which that actually might not be bad. Who knows?
Yeah, might not be horrible.
How do we pick who gets eliminated? Like, are you talking about like the players that were eliminated, or are you talking about like the actual fantasy teams? Because the players who are eliminated, nobody votes for that. It's just like their team is now out of the playoffs. So they're not going to be playing any more games. So essentially, those players were just eliminated because their team is not going forward anymore. So,
correct.
I'm glad I'm sorry if that wasn't clear before. I apologize, Princess. So, all right. Is there any other thoughts that you have on this before we wrap this thing on up?
Not really. No, I think we can kind of dive down into who like maybe our favorites are after this next round once we're down to 4 teams. So we'll break it down a little further from that, but it's still pretty wide open right now.
I do have one more slide. I just wanted to show the scoreboard here real quick. Pretty self-explanatory. Cassie's up on the top, followed by me, followed by Foster, followed by Garlic, followed by Ben, followed by Al, and then Praying Mantis Princess on the bottom. But I want to give her a big shout out saying thanks for playing along with us. This is her first fantasy challenge that she's ever done. So I think it's awesome that we are expanding our group to play fantasy with us. So thank you so much for participating with us. We appreciate it a lot. So
agreed.
Yeah. Interesting to see who has positions left. I feel like if you have two quarterbacks left, that's exactly, I believe, what you want going into Super Bowl weekend. Yep. So if you have 2 quarterbacks left, you are in good position. If you don't have any left, it's going to be really tough. So there's that. But this game is weird. So it could be, you never know how it's going to end. So it's going to be fun. So I don't think I have anything else left to say on the second season. So I appreciate everybody for who is playing, and to let everybody know, first place will be winning majority of the pot. Second place will get their money back. And then, so what was that? 140. So $120 is going to first place. So thanks a lot for playing. I'm transitioning back here. Jack, it's here. I just have a couple quick things to let people know about before we head on out of here. Some of the off-season content, my wife and I, we are going to be, since Foster and I last week were able to sit down in a room together, and even though there was some microphone bleeding issues, there won't be any issues with that next time. This is going to be completely unrelated from the Victorious POD, but it is going to be streamed on the Panic Man Walters Twitch channel. My wife and I are going to be sitting down and just having an open discussion about mental health in general. January is a very dark month. This past week, MLK Day was known as Blue Monday. It's one of the most, it unfortunately is the day where statistically people have chosen to end their life. And we don't want that. We want to expose, not expose, we want to educate. We want to get rid of the stigma around mental illness and everything like that. And we'll be talking a little bit about more specifically eating disorders. But we want to sit down and just have off-season, or through this off-season, we just want to have these mental health open discussions. So we invite everybody to who has something that they want to say on the subject, or if they just want to sit back and lurk, we would invite you guys to check it out. I don't think it's going to be a podcast thing. I have no idea. We'll see how it goes, but just something to let you guys know that we will be talking about, and we look forward to doing that. So I just wanted to get that out there. Other than that, I don't think I have really anything else. Jack, if you have a second, do you want to have any final thoughts, and then we can get on out of here?
Yeah, I guess just we won't repeat all the stuff we said before, but I'm very interested to see how the playoff matchups shake out this week. I think any of the four underdogs could easily win, and hopefully especially the 49ers do, so we don't have to watch the Packers in the playoffs.
Ooh,
That's all I got.
All right.
I'm getting the death glare from my wife, who is a Packers fan, so had to be said.
Right on. Thanks, guys, for checking out my channel. Be sure to keep checking out Panic Man Walters here on Twitch. Give me a follow. Give Jack a follow. Jack is at Jack W Vickers. Is that right on Twitch?
Jack W Vickers 740 is my Twitch handle, as the kids call it.
Is it at Jack? Are you not in Twitch right now? Jack W Vickers.
I literally just closed it out. I was
740. Is that what it is?
Yeah. Yep. You got it.
I got it here in chat. I posted it. There we go. Follow. Give him a good old follow on the old Twitch there. Yeah.
The old Twitch. Not the young Twitch. Don't follow me on the young Twitch. Just the old Twitch.
All right. That's pretty much all we have to wrap up for today. So I want to thank you guys so much for coming out, hanging out, checking us out and everything like that. Can we please play my song? Maybe not. There we go. All right, guys, it's been a lot of fun.
Barbie girl. Oh, not that song.
Yeah. It's been a lot of fun, guys. I appreciate everybody who's checked us out. Our first-time viewers, our first-time chatters. Blow Up Black Death, I see you in chat there. We'll get to you in just a second. I'm sorry that our podcast is over, but in the after pod, I'll just be here for a few seconds, and we'll get to your question here. I'm sorry that I wasn't able to answer it on, but thank you for checking us out. We are the Victorious POD. You can find us here weekly up until the Super Bowl, hopefully on every Thursday. Otherwise, in the off season, we'll be on every few weeks, and we'll always have gameplay and stuff like that on here, so it'll be a lot of fun. Jack, have a great evening. Thanks for all of your hard work this week on the notes. It really went well. You were a great host, and I can't wait to do this again next week. We'll catch you later.
Heck yeah, sounds good.
Bye.
Goodbye.
All right. Thank you, everybody out there, for checking us out. I want to say thank you to Praying Mantis Princess. I want to thanks to Audio Al. I want to thank Blow Up Black Death. I want to thank, we've got other guys in here. We've got Ratman 879. I want to say thanks to Big G Mike 75, all the first time chatters in our session here today. So I really like all that. Thanks, guys. I really appreciate you guys checking us out. Let's see here. Black, who will have more touchdowns, Pat Mahomes or Josh Allen at the end of their careers? That's a tough one, man. If I was to think about it, I'm going to guess Pat Mahomes, just because Pat Mahomes, I mean, both are similar style, like, quarterbacks, but Josh Allen runs like a ton more. So Josh Allen is going to have the opportunity to get hurt more as a running quarterback. And I think Pat Mahomes is more accurate than Josh Allen. So I'm going to guess that at the end of their careers, Pat Mahomes will have more touchdowns than Josh Allen. But it's a decent comparison. Two different players, similar but different. Josh Allen being the more mobile quarterback for sure. So I hope that answers your question. Thanks for asking me the question. I really appreciate that. If you guys like what you guys hear, you guys you want to join the conversation with us, please hit up our Discord. Our Discord is going to be in the show notes. So be sure to do that, and we can talk football year round. We also have general chat stuff. There's Q&A. We talk, there's video games, there's voice channels in there. So we got everything you guys need to form a community and just start talking and communicating with each other. So I want to thank everybody for checking out the stream this week. Had a lot of fun doing it. This was a great episode, especially for a little light on the fantasy side, but we're always full of opinions when it comes to football. So appreciate that. So you guys have a great rest of your night. I'm going to be kicking it off here. I think what I'm going to try and do is, if Dub is still on, I think I'm going to try and get him to raid. I'm going to try and raid Dubfire here. Let's see if we can do this. Let's raid Dubfire 33. All right, you guys have a great one, and we'll be going over there to raid Dubfire. So you guys have a great night, and enjoy Dubfire 33 talking Battlefield.
How'd your stream go, my man? Welcome. to your friends that joined you on the raid there. Appreciate that, man. We're just finishing up talking about some playlist updates for a game that nobody's playing. So let's but now we're going to talk about patch notes for a game that nobody's playing. Hey, but we did get a patch this week, so I guess that's worthy of some fanfare. So patch, what is this? Patch 3.2. And